Dear friends, welcome to another episode of The Spoke Master. In this video, we will discuss a recent statement by Vladimir Putin, who assured that his invasion of Ukraine will end in 2025, but will it really? If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. To understand the current situation, it's essential to delve into the battlefield in Donetsk, a region where, despite the slow pace, Russian advances remain relentless. These offensives are supported by attrition tactics, which, although costly in human terms for both sides, are gradually consolidating significant territorial gains for the Kremlin. However, despite suffering devastating losses, the Kremlin seems determined to achieve its strategic objectives. It's crucial to remember that the Donbass region, of which Donetsk is a part, was the main reason Putin decided to justify his invasion of Ukraine, making the complete conquest of that region essential for the Russians. On the other hand, Ukraine faces increasingly greater challenges. The incursion into Russian territory, particularly in the Kherson region, aimed to create diplomatic pressure and gain advantages in future negotiations. However, this offensive not only stagnated but also exposed the vulnerability of Ukrainian forces, with the cost of this operation being very high in terms of both human lives and lost equipment. Beyond tactical issues, there's also the human factor. Exhausted troops, civilians suffering from displacement and losses, and an economy under constant strain, adding extra pressure on Kyiv. The morale of the troops, though still strong, begins to show signs of wear after years of incessant conflict. The entry of Donald Trump into the U.S. presidency in January 2025 adds a layer of uncertainty to an already complex scenario. Trump, known for his unconventional approach to foreign policy, promised during his campaign to mediate negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. However, he also indicated that the continuation of American military aid might depend on the progress of these negotiations, creating a delicate situation for Kyiv, which heavily relies on U.S. support to withstand Russian pressure. Kellogg, appointed as the special envoy for the conflict, suggested that the ideal solution would be a war freeze where both parties would accept a temporary armistice. However, President Zelensky was clear in his stance, stating that the Ukrainian constitution does not allow the ceding of sovereign territories. This deadlock makes any quick solution unlikely, especially considering Putin's insistence on maintaining the annexed territories under Russian control. Internally, Trump will face resistance. Although he wishes to reduce American involvement in the conflict, his administration will need to deal with public opinion, Congress, and NATO allies who have clear interests in keeping Ukraine as a bulwark against Russian expansion. Since the beginning of the conflict, Russia has undergone a profound transformation in its military structure. Though it has suffered impressive losses, Moscow has managed to adapt quickly. The Russian arsenal now includes hypersonic missiles like the Kinzhal and Zircon, in addition to the newly introduced OreNick, capable of reaching speeds over Mach 10. These advancements show that the Kremlin is investing in cutting-edge technology to maintain its offensive capability. On the other hand, limitations are also evident. To compensate for the loss of over 3,000 armored vehicles, Russia has resorted to Soviet stockpiles and even tanks pulled from museums. Although the quality of these equipments is questionable, they illustrate Russia's ability to improvise under pressure. A crucial aspect is the assistance from Russian allies. North Korea is sending troops, weapons, and ammunition to reinforce Russian lines, while Iran and China contribute significantly with equipment like drones, along with commercial, economic, and military support. These reinforcements, coupled with the increasing integration of drones and other technologies, have allowed Moscow to keep its military campaign ongoing. The question echoing around the world now is, will this war end in 2025? Experts diverge. For some, the most likely scenario is a ceasefire agreement, perhaps mediated by the Trump administration, with both sides making concessions. But for others, the conflict is destined to become a prolonged stalemate marked by sporadic skirmishes and constant tensions. Putin has demonstrated through the defense budget that he is prepared to prolong the war, with 40% of the entire Russian budget allocated to military spending in 2025. The message is clear. Moscow does not plan to back down anytime soon. Zelensky, on his part, is caught between the need to maintain ally support and internal pressure for a solution. Ultimately, the progression of the war in Ukraine in 2025 will depend on a combination of factors: political dynamics in the United States, the resilience of Ukrainian forces, Russian determination, and the influence of global powers. One thing is certain: 2025 will be a decisive year and might even involve a momentary ceasefire, but the underlying causes and motivations of this war will not be officially resolved in the short term. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates.